All right, let's say you have 3 ad copy variations and then 3 different creatives, and you're proud of each and every single one of them. It's the best work you've ever put together for both your copy and your creative. But which one actually is best? Which one is actually gonna reign supreme? That's exactly what we're gonna talk about today. Now, you can test things natively inside of Facebook ads, but in this video, I'm actually gonna show you the optimal way of doing it. What's up, everybody? Alvaro here from Alvaro Barrios Digital, and today is all about testing. This is a question I get asked very, very frequently. How do I know what my best performing ad copy and creatives are? How can I make sure that I'm pushing my money towards the best performing assets? So that's what we're gonna go over today. So before I get into my preferred method, let me break down the methods that are common to use inside of Facebook's Ads Manager, because there are some native tools that you can utilize in there. And I would say the most common one is dynamic creative. Now, dynamic creative is something that you enable at the ad sets level. The default option is off, so in order to utilize this, you have to make sure you turn it on. And what dynamic creative allows you to do, it allows you to supply multiple ad copy variations, multiple creatives, multiple headlines, and even multiple calls to action in a single ad. And then Facebook's gonna run that and then just automatically shift things around for you, right? So it's gonna mix ad copy 1 with image 3, and then ad copy 2 with video 5, and whatever it might be. It's just going to automatically mix and match things for you as you go along way. So it's a very easy way to quote unquote test, because you don't have to create tons of different ads, and then you don't have to create the variations yourself. So very straightforward and easy that way. But the downside of dynamic creative is that it's not going to split the impressions evenly across all of your assets, right? So some of your ad copy variations and some of your creatives, they're going to dominate the impressions. And so it's not really a true test, right? You might have a hidden gem in there that just isn't getting any impressions, and you're never gonna actually know what is the truth. The other way of doing it is using Facebook's native A/B testing tool. So what this does is that you select it, and it's going to take you through some prompts asking you what it is that you want to test, things like placements and audiences. And then what it's going to do, it's going to create a duplicate of the previous campaign you already had running, and then it's going to run those side by side with the test. So let's just say you're testing audiences in this case, then it's going to split that into 2 different campaigns, and it's going to split the impressions evenly between the 2. So the benefit of that one is that you are going to get even impressions, which is good, and you will have a stronger idea of what actually is the truth. The downside of this method, though, is that once the test is over, right, you have to stop the campaign, right? So what if something's working amazing and you want to keep it running? Well, you can. You lose that momentum. You got to restart it over again and make sure that that you are, restarting that campaign. The other downside of this, and I think this is actually the bigger reason that I don't like this method, is because you actually, the way that works is that it's pausing the campaigns one another at the same time. So let me explain that a little bit more. So let's just say you're spending $100 a day, and it's split between these two different campaigns. So it's gonna run one campaign, let's just say randomly from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then it's gonna turn that one off, and then turn the other one off, and run from 10 a.m. all the way to 11 a.m. It's gonna still turn them on and off like that, which is less than ideal, because behavior changes throughout the day on the platform, right? The way people behave on the platform is different in the morning versus the afternoon versus the evening. And so that's a less than ideal way, because when the campaign is off, it's not getting that exposure of people's behavior during that time of day. And so I have never really found the results to be consistent and reliable. So if you want proper testing, if you want the best way, you got to do it yourself. You got to, put on those gloves and start working. That's exactly what I'm going to go over here today. It's just a manual way of testing, but it gives you all the control, and you get the most accurate data possible. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive inside of Ads Manager and take a look at how I set this up. Okay, so here we are inside of Facebook Ads Manager, and I'm going to show you how I set this up. So you can use this method for testing copy, creatives, or headlines, right? So the process is going to be exactly the same. In this instance that I'm showing you, I was testing copy, but like I said, it's the exact same setup if you're doing either creatives or headlines for that matter. So what you want to do is that in a single campaign, you create duplicate ad sets of the same targeting audience. So here I have 5 different ad sets, which means I'm testing, in this case, 5 different ad copy variations. You don't have to do 5, right? If you want to do 3, 4, 2, right, all that's fine. But I'm just showing you what the standard setup is. You're going to have duplicate ad sets, meaning in each and every single one of these ad sets, if I scroll down to the targeting options, you're going to see it's the same targeting in each and every single one. This is a website lookalike. I go to this one, website lookalike, website lookalike, website lookalike, and website lookalike. So there's no difference in the targeting at all between any of these ad sets. Furthermore, there's no differences in the optimization settings. For example, they all have the 1-day click or 1-day view. They're not mixing and matching between 7-day and 1 day and stuff like that. So everything is an exact copy for all of these ad sets across the board. So why is that? Why am I setting it up this way? Well, inside of each ad set, there's one ad there, and this ad has a single ad copy variation. So the ad copy in here is different to the ad copy in here, which is different to the ad copy in here, so on and so forth. And the reason you only want to do one ad inside of each ad set is because if you have multiple ads, it's going to distribute the impressions between those multiple ads unevenly. So the best way to ensure that you are getting even impressions across all of these is to make sure that you have one ad per ad set and you're running all of them at the same time. They all go live at the same time and they all go off at the same time, ensuring even impression throughout the entire testing period. So that's another step right there. The next step to think about, or to note, I should say, is that you'll see here all the different ad copy variations, and you can already see in the preview, I'm using the same exact image in each and every single one because I'm testing ad copy. If I were to have a different image inside of each and every single one, then it wouldn't be a true test, right? Because I'm testing multiple things at that point, ad copy and images, and I won't have a good way of determining what's actually creating the impact. Is it the image or is it the ad copy? So make sure you're only testing one thing at a time. You do not want to test multiple things. That's going to make things very messy and dirty. So keep it clean and only test one thing at a time. So like I said, we're testing ad copy here, so I'm using the same image. But if we were testing images or graphics or videos or whatever it might be, then it would be reversed, where the ad copy is exactly the same. There's no difference between ad copy from each and every single individual ad, and then only the creative is different at that point. And then let's say my final test is headlines, then I would have the same ad copy, the same creative, and simply just have a different headline inside of each ad. So that's how you ensure it. Now your next question might be, okay, cool, so I like this setup, I see how you do it, how long should I run it for? So in order to get some good statistical significance, I always recommend running until each ad set gets at least 1,000 impressions. So once it gets to 1,000 impressions, it's seen a good amount of data. It's likely run for a couple different days, meaning it's seen behavior on the platform in the evenings, in the afternoons, and from a Monday to a Tuesday to a Wednesday and stuff like that. So 1,000 to 1,500 impressions to me is kind of the sweet spot, because it's enough to give you good data, but it's not too much to the point where you're going to be just overspending unnecessarily at that point. So that's what I recommend right there. Now, in some cases, if you are in an extremely competitive niche where your cost of your cost per 1,000 impressions or your CPM is extremely high, right? Getting up to 1,000 to 1,500 impressions could be very expensive. So in those cases, I would be okay with going all the way up to 500 impressions per ad set. But that's only if you have very, very high CPMs, right? If you're in the low CPM range, which I would define as 30s or below, right? So if you're anywhere, $15 to $20, $30, maybe even a $40 CPM, right? Definitely go up to 1,000 to 1,500. If you're above that with your CPMs, right, you might want to do a little bit less because it can get a little bit expensive. So there you have it. I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions about this testing process, do let me know in the comments below. I actually really love testing. It's one of my favorite things to do because it's just a very, very great way to start scaling up your Facebook ads. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in today. Here's 2 more videos for you to check out, and I will see you next time.